Guys, Justin Brock here with Medicare Gurus, and today we're going to introduce another speaker and participant in the Medicare Gurus Mastermind. We're really excited to have Ricky Ballard come out. Ricky Ballard runs one of the largest teams, maybe the largest team within the Innovative Financial Group family called Ballard Insurance Group. Think big is his big thing, and he's been killing it, making the transition for him and several of their agents from final expense into Medicare this past year. And I think it's been a whirlwind and something that the entire insurance community who is wanting to get into Medicare from any niche at some point has to make a transition from their old ways and hopefully to do both. But it's like a programming of your brain to be able to handle two different trains of thought. And Ricky's done pretty well at that, probably better than anybody that I've seen, other than maybe like somebody that I've actually had come work in the office under our thumb. But Ricky did it all on his own. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna introduce him. Ricky, thank you so much for doing this morning. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. Grateful to be here this morning for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited about your participation in the group. I've done a couple of interviews from people who are in the group. You're the first one that's going to be the interview of somebody who represents a niche portion of the actual Medicare content of the gurus. I'm getting more and more into the Medicare ones. We're doing an interview with Medicare Bob and Eric Fierro and some of these other guys that have been in Medicare for a while. But you represent that final expense to Medicare transition, and you've done it really well. So without getting into what we'll probably be talking about at the Mastermind, what have you learned so far? I think we were just kind of talking about it a second ago.
Well, I mean, most importantly is the difference between when you're selling a final expense product, how it can be a harder close. You're closing business. You're asking for a check, and then when you transition over to Medicare, especially Medicare Advantage, which the niche that I'm in, because the leads, a final expense lead, a lot of times in the areas that I work, most of the clientele that we're going to see are on a Medicare Advantage plan because of the socioeconomics. What we found is that it's really not a close, it's an enrollment. It is an educational process on the Medicare side of it. And so you kind of got to let off the gas pedal a little bit, which is a weird transition for final expense guys, right? Us final expense guys, most of the time, we're wide open. Our attention to detail sometimes is not our greatest strength. It's just all volume, go, right and run. And so you've got to make a transition in that sale, and you've got to slow down, and you've got to really become an expert in those things. And so there's a huge learning curve in the Medicare Advantage space. It's you really transition from being, I feel, a sales rep, and I'm not trying to run anything down final expense. I've made a great living, and it's been a blessing to my family on final expense. It's just a different beast. When you're running with final expense, you can write and run, and you're on to the next one, and it's always on to the next one. With Medicare Advantage, what we found is you kind of got to let off the gas pedal, and you've got to slow down, and you've truly got to educate. And in that process, that means we also have to become educated and be able to figure out what networks have integrity in our areas, make sure that we're truly doing an education, bringing educational value to our clients and slowing down to them and helping them understand what the best options are for them. And so the psychology behind it for a final expense agent to cross over to the Medicare space really is just slow down, take your time, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in the Medicare space, ask a lot of questions, I feel you just need to become expert in just with a couple of carriers to start. I know you can have just like you can in final expense, a bunch of carriers, but that becomes confusing at times, and be an expert with just a couple of them till you get it figured out, and then educate your clients. And then if you get in a situation where it's not what's right for the client, have the courage to walk away, plug into Medicare Gurus and ask some questions and say, hey, what contract do I need? Where do I need to go? There's going to be a few guys that are going to beat you up and be like, hey, you should know that. And then there'll be another 90% of guys that are going to tell you, hey, Ricky, go here. And, I did that 10 times probably 10 or 15 times this year. And the community was just so open to say, hey, Rick, go this direction. Hey, I wouldn't enroll him in this plan. Hey, I would do this. And kind of the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. And
Yeah.
In Medicare, if you try to do it all on your own, it'll drown you.
Oh yeah. But so back, back in the day, even 5+ years ago, I feel like getting into Medicare, there weren't a lot of resources online. There were a couple of guys out there with some sites that were really good, but and then you had like insuranceforums.net, that group. But the tone on there was more 90 chastise the guy asking the question, 10 help out. But I think some of the communities online now have really reversed it, where I would have told someone back originally when they got into any line of insurance, you have to go and work under somebody else and be in shadow, and then that's still probably helpful for a lot of people. But now with the community online, I can see some people actually being able to just come onto that community and find out what they need to know and get into it, and be able to kind of start from inception that way. I do. It depends on the person. I've seen several people come in that tried to do it all on their own and then end up finding out that they had a better experience when they did go out and shadow somebody. But the communities are cool in being able to share that much information. But you brought up some really good points on Medicare being an educational pitch. Most days I don't feel like a salesman until I get to the cross sell point, because the core product of what we do is just being a service provider, or just an educational resource for them. I almost feel like I'm the Social Security office for sometimes they're coming in just wanting to know. They come here before they come to Social Security a lot for us, and we're just educating them, saying, okay, you need to go to Social Security for this, and you need to do this. And then it's not until we get to the point where they're like, all right, I want that plan and that, drug coverage and that. And then I say, okay, now do you want to get cancer? Do you need final expense? And then I feel like a salesperson again.
Sure. Well, we've run into one of the things I've noticed, Justin, with the Medicare piece, with what we're doing, is whenever I was running just final expense, we paid so much attention to ROI. We paid so much attention to customer acquisition cost. We paid so much attention to all of these things because we wanted to make sure that our return on our lead purchase and getting knee to knee with people was just so important. Because if you don't pay attention to those details in final expense, your agents will it'll break them. They'll be in a situation where they're spending $200 on customer acquisition costs and they're not making any money, and that's how come only 8% of these guys make it, right? And so by adding in this to our tool belt, I really feel by doing both off of a final expense lead, it just comes down to sits. You no longer have to pay attention to that stuff. You no longer have to pay attention to ROI and customer acquisition costs. You can just say, hey, I'm going to run 30 appointments. I'm going to set with 25 people this week. And I know if we learn what we're doing and get comfortable, we're going to be able to close at least 15 of those people, or I guess the word's not right to say close, enroll at least 15 of those people in a Medicare Advantage. And then if you only get 25% on the life, it's okay, because you have a real good balance between fast money and that back end residual, which is why most people come into insurance, Justin. We come into this business to, we want our financially to change our lives, but we want to build that back end residual where we can manage a book and also have autonomy.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just a final expense agent, you don't get that. It's all gas pedal and no brake in life insurance,
Yeah.
And it's almost this golden carrot that people don't. It's false. You're not going to build this huge residual book on the back end on life insurance. You're just not.
Right.
But you will with this, and it's just another tool to put in our tool belt. We're seeing the same people. We're sitting with the same families. Why not help them with another product?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of are we perfect at it? No. Do I lean on communities to help us at this time? Absolutely. Will we hopefully be the best at it going forward of doing final expense and Medicare? Yeah, that's the goal. I want my team. I would love for, 500 of my agents to have 400 to 800 of these things on the book and have real residual income and real autonomy and freedom to be better fathers and, have those things in their lives. And so that's what's exciting to me, man. It's so agent driven. The cross sell and being able to do final expense and being able to do Medicare Advantage finally delivers on what we've all been promised on for so long, to have that balance of fast money and residual money. I don't know anywhere else in insurance right now that you can do that. It's exciting, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you at the Mastermind too, because I really do think you're going to there's a lot of people there that are going to be helped as much by you as anybody else there. So, what can you say about your excitement level for getting involved in the mastermind?
Immediately, I'll be honest, I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are the real deal when it comes to Medicare. Like, I'm pretty new coming into the space. I think, I think I'll actually probably have 2 or 3 notebooks full of notes that I'm going to learn from everybody there. I'll be honest with you, but, I hope at the end of the day, I'm just excited to be surrounded around guys who are smarter than me in a space that I can learn. I hope that I can share a few things that we've learned, maybe from a different vantage point. Because we are coming from a totally different vantage point, and I'm probably looking at things a lot different than guys that just do Medicare do, and they may be real formed, and maybe by the end of the day, as I visit with you guys, there may be some things that I need to adjust and learn. And so, man, I'm just excited to be a part of the community. It's a new community for me. I've learned that Medicare people are just a lot of their strength is they're just really smart, and that can be intimidating for us sometimes. You talk to these guys and they start using this alphabet soup of acronyms, you're like, holy cow, you're probably the smartest person I've ever met. And and so as we're kind of crossing through that, so I'm excited to be a part of the community. It's a very giving community, I believe. I feel they're so willing, they're mavens. Medicare people are willing to share their knowledge because they're so smart. And so, man, I can't wait to be in the room with a bunch of people that are just fired up about blessing people's lives and willing to share their knowledge and be a part of that community. So, man, I'm stoked about it. My teams are coming. I was in Nashville literally this week alone, and I was hyping my team up like, hey, dude, it's right here in your backyard. This is going to be a blast. And so, man, thank you for putting this on and bringing awareness to our industry, man. There's so much lacking. Social media has changed the game, and you leveraging that to bring awareness to all of us and helping us become better at our jobs to serve families. We're talking about making generational changes for people just through education. I can get behind that, dude. As you can tell, I get passionate and a little infectious about it. This is where we win, man. Serve to deserve. I'm all about it.
Well, I'm excited to have you, man. I'm really getting pumped about the meeting. I'm hoping to turn this into like an annual family reunion where we, just like with our families, we're seeing them on Facebook and liking pictures of nieces and nephews, and then once a year or so you get together and everybody's together in person. I want to turn it into like the Medicare family reunion each year. So I hope it does that. And man, we're really excited to have you. And I appreciate you doing this morning. And how could people find you if people wanted to find you, online or do y'all have a website or anything that people can go to?
You go to www.thinkbigcoverage.com. You can get on there. We have a university that's there, a little bit of intro of what we're doing. People can tap into it a little bit. I'm very active on Facebook. Reach out any way we can help. Guys, we're at a point now that, we onboarded 71 agents last week. We're wide open. And so we just want to help people. I'll give it all away. I'll tell you that right now. I'll give it all away, knowing that if it'll serve families, we'll do it. And hopefully, I know by doing that, this business is 100% about relationships.
I know. So if I know from everybody that has introduced me to you and talked about you that's a genuine thing that everybody says Ricky is building the business because he enjoys. Everybody likes to make more money, but you enjoy changing people's lives and helping people grow. So I'm really excited to have you, man. So thank you for doing this today, and I'm gonna tell everybody goodbye. Thank you for watching this video, and if you haven't checked out the Mastermind get together yet, go to mastermind.justinbrock.net and try to get your ticket before they're all gone, because honestly we've sold a lot of them faster than I really thought we would. I thought I'd have to get on the phone and actually like sell these like we sell other things, but they've been selling themselves. So but anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, Justin. I look forward to meeting everybody.
All right, man.